Hope everyone had an amazing day yesterday. Happy Friday, January 18. Let's make sure we end this week right. Let's see what we got going on here. So first, let's start off as usual, going over our watch list from yesterday and see how those stocks did, what stocks traded well and what didn't. And then let's go over our gappers list, which for today looks pretty light. Let's get our pen out here. Pretty light. We have Tesla, we have Netflix, and Crunch just popped up now. Looks like it's getting the volume. So we'll see how those are trading and if they can be in play today if they have a good setup. So here's our watches from yesterday. These were not on our watch list, but we have PCG. Again, PCG has been just taking a huge hit. Again, today's not dropping much. Actually, it's up 0.63, but that's nothing compared to what the price that it is now. Had a huge drop yesterday after a pop. So let's look at how this thing opened up yesterday. So coming right over here, you had this huge selling pressure, just popping up. And then right at the open, you kind of consolidate. And then once it loses the VWAP, it just continues to drop here. Again, just having these pullbacks here. These are all just bull traps. And just, again, you keep getting caught here thinking it's going to bounce. And it's just dropping further and further. So, again, not a stock that you want to be trying to play long here with the news of the possible bankruptcy. Let's see how it trades today. Right now, that has the volume, 268,000 shares traded. So we'll see how it does later on at the open. Andrew took this for a short. It was on short selling restriction, I believe, but he was able to take this for a short and had a beautiful trade on it. So make sure you check out his recap from yesterday. Next, we have RVNC. I was watching RVNC, but the issue with this one is that the volume was very low. It turned out to be a beautiful opening range breakdown, but the problem, you don't want to get into something that doesn't have the volume. As you can see right at the open, it just didn't get the volume that it was showing in the pre-market. But if you look at the 5-minute chart, if you were patient enough, if you caught this pop here at VWAP, this could turn out to be a beautiful breakdown, trend trade, and then it levels out here around the $17 mark, and then does this pop up to VWAP. But again, it's just the volume was not there. So when the volume is not there, easily somebody can come in and you can get stopped out pretty bad. So volume is key. So again, beautiful pre-market action in the morning, but then it turned out to be to not have the volume. Next we have MS. So MS was in our watch list as well. Pretty rough open, pretty choppy. It's kind of all over the place. It started dropping here. The volume was there, but again, just really hard to take a trade here because just how these wicks were reacting. Again, just not a great way to catch an edge here. So very tough to trade this stock. Later on in the mid morning, it did hold this level around 4180. It held this level here. You can see the wicks, see the buying pressure here. So that's a good indication for a reversal. So if you waited on this one, you could have possibly caught this for a reversal up to VWAP. Then it dips here again. It gives you another opportunity to take it again in here, or even add to your position as you already taking some profits out and take this above VWAP. So it turned out to be a really nice trend trade. But at the open, if you look at the 1-minute chart, there's no way to really get into an entry here. And I was watching this one. Yes, it's easy to now say, hey, this was chop. But I was watching the price action. It just did not look healthy at all for you to take a trade here. So if you got chopped up here, risk management is key, so you're able to survive when you're getting your stopped out. SIG also turned out to be a beautiful opening range breakdown, but the price action on here was also tough to trade. As you can see in the 1-minute chart, you're not getting these clean candles. So it was a little tougher to take this for a short. It was on short selling restrictions, so you had to sit on the ask, and when you don't have nice candle patterns, that's very difficult to do. But it turned out to be a very good short if you were patient, if you were able to get a good entry too, because again, just the price action was not the best. And then next we have MRTX. MRTX, extremely choppy. This is, again, and look at the volume, just no volume here. So it turned out to be a little disappointing. And then the entire morning, it's just, again, just look at these candles, right? So it just did not turn out to be a good play. LMFA, it had a beautiful pre-market action. We thought it was actually going to play better. But in the morning, you could only scalp it, right? And again, scalping is not a bad thing. That's a skill you have to develop. You cannot just try to scalp without first learning how to do that. So if you're able to take a quick scalp on this, you could have made out pretty well. And it was easier to manage your risk because this thing is not dropping on you at like 50 cents, 40 cents, or $1, right? So it was easy to manage your risk. It is a lower price, so you have to be careful how many shares you take. But again, just after it left the VWAP, it never came back up. It just sold off throughout the entire day. All right, so that was our watch list from yesterday. But I want to look at AMD because AMD turned out to be a beautiful trade after this drop. It held that 19 level. I got stopped out twice on this trade here, trying to take it for opening range breakdown. Make sure you check out my recap on YouTube. But after this, it held this 19 level here. It was a very strong level that it held. It just bounced up nicely above VWAP, and it turned out to be a beautiful trade. Cracked the high of the day, and it just continued above all these moving averages, just riding the 9 and the 20 here nicely, and just continued to making new highs. So even regardless of what the SPY was doing, this stock was really strong yesterday. All right, guys, let's see what we have today. Our gappers list from Trade Ideas looking pretty light today. Only Netflix and Tesla. Crom popped up over here a little earlier, so we'll check see how that's doing. And then we'll check our usuals, MU, AMD, SQ, JD, see what's going on with those guys. And then we'll jump into our NASDAQ active and NASDAQ gainers. So thank you everyone for joining us in YouTube. Hope that this week has been helpful and that you're enjoying these live broadcasts. So make sure you hit the like button if you like what we're doing this week. We appreciate you guys joining us and so early in the morning. So thank you for that. So let's look at Netflix in our gappers list. Higher price stock. It is trading at $346, so it is on the higher side. But they are gapping down today 2%. Tons of volume right now. 443,000 shares traded so far. So this will be in play today. A little higher price. Again, I personally, for my own trading, I don't like to trade stocks that are such at such a price level, but we'll keep it on here because it will be in play today based on the news that's going on with them. So Tesla, we have, based on the chat from this morning, we were talking about they had they're cutting employees, so that's not good, and bad guidance news on this. So this is down 5.7 today. Tons of volume, 723,000 shares. So let's see what's going on with this daily chart here. Daily chart looks okay. Again, it's kind of ugly over here. Just been kind of going sideways, but now it's gapping down. So this will also be in play today. Again, another stock that's a bit on the higher side. I tend not to trade these as well as I do to the other ones. But if you do, this could be in play today. We'll get to some levels in a second. So now let's look at again, pretty light on the Trade Idea scanners. I'm gonna look at Cron because Cron peeked his head in here for a second, then disappeared. I'm assuming it's just there it goes. It comes back. So I'm assuming it's just bouncing back between 2% between there. So let's see what's going on right now. So 101,000 shares traded so far. Pre-market action looks all right. Not the best. It needs more volume. Again, you have all these volumes sitting on these two candles here. You have another candle here with most of the volume. So let's keep it on here. Let's see if now that it's popping up in the scanners, people start looking at this stock a little more often. This morning, maybe it starts popping up in people's views, and they can bring the volume in. So we'll keep it on here for now. See how it develops later on. Let's go over now to our NASDAQ active and NASDAQ gainers. So I know Jivo, we were talking about earlier in the chat room, in our members chat room, where it does have the volume, 519,000 shares traded so far. It is up 35% this morning. This is a low flow stock, so you want to be very careful. We're going to put it down here in our risky pile, Jivo, and then we'll find some levels for this next. Next, we have BPTH. Looks like it's trying to build a good pre-market action. It's probably a little too early, but right now the volume is not there. We'll throw it on here just for a sec. It has 73,000 shares traded so far, up 35%. I'll look at the daily chart in a second. Let's put it in here for now for a possible. See if the crowd starts coming in and makes this a stock that could be in play today. OSK, horrible pre-market action. No volume. We'll skip that. We have Team here, TEAM. Higher price stock, has the volume. What's the float on this one? Price is trading around $100. Team. All right, so this is not a low flow. It's a 104 million shares. This could possibly be in play. Volume is coming in. It is up 8.2. Pre-market action right now does not look great. This is not a good pre-market action. So you can see very choppy. Check out our class 2 on the YouTube. You can see the comparison between good pre-market action and a bad pre-market action. So make sure you check that out on what we're looking for. This is not what we're looking for. Again, right now it looks very bad. It could turn better as the morning goes on, but right now does not look great. So next we have GPOR, horrible pre-market action. Look at these gaps, right? No volume. So what creates a good pre-market action is volume. There's none here. So not a stock we want to watch. Next we have EGAN, nothing happening. SPWH, another bad pre-market action here. Then we have KNDI, and we'll do one more here. Horrible pre-market action on this one. And last one, GSUM, nothing happening there. So we'll go to the NASDAQ active now here and see which ones are active that we did not catch in our gappers list. And now our gappers list looks like it's getting some more stocks here, so that's good. So as I'm doing this, throw some other stocks that you're watching on your end that maybe I'm not covering yet, and we'll look at those as soon as I'm done with this NASDAQ active. And same for YouTube. I'm watching on the YouTube chat room as well, so post them on there, and we'll get to them as soon as we finish this list. So UPL. 1.3 million shares traded so far. Pre-market action is starting to look decent, not great, but decent. But it is under, it's 129, right? $1.22 trading right now. I don't like trading stocks that low, but I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. I'm on the fence. I'll keep it on here, but this is something that I might drop. MNGA, no good. It has the volume, but this pre-market action is not great. Look at the price too, at 23 cents. I don't like to trade stocks that are that low. ETF, we got a great question on our via YouTube about ETFs and why we don't trade them. So they're not bad to trade, but it's just like low flows. Low flows are not bad, right? There's just stocks that you have to know what you're doing. The learning curve is a little higher, a little longer when it comes to trading low flows, right? There's plenty of communities that trade low flow, and that's their main focus. But with low flows, you have to have an experience level that allows you to have an excellent risk management, right? Because there's no room for errors there, right? You make an error, you don't have great risk management, you're going to pay the price big time. And usually what attracts people to low flow is how much money you can make with little buying power, which is very attractive for anyone, right? But just the risk management part has to be on point. So nothing wrong with trading low flows. You just have to be able to have that risk management and that skill. Same thing with ETFs. They trade a little different than equities. So you want to make sure you have the experience, try that in sim for a while. And once you're able to trade those successfully, then you can trade them live. Tesla we have here is in play for sure. 740,000 right now, down 5.4, but it looks like it's starting to climb now. Find like a little base here. It looks like it's starting to climb. So we'll see if it can hold these levels and move higher. So above VWAP on the 5-minute chart. Gevo we have down here is losing it a bit now. Volume is there, gapping up 36.8 right now, so that's good. Netflix we have, this is a good pre-market action, guys. Look at this 1-minute chart, right? So that's a good pre-market action. You have the volume and you kind of have a range, right? You kind of have a flow to it is what I like to see. Whether up or down, doesn't matter which way, but just some kind of flow to it. Next we have TIME. TIME, what's the float on this? I mean, has the volume 470,000 shares traded right now. TIME, not that low flow, 47. So we could keep this on here. I do have shares for sure. It looks like it was halted already this morning. So we'll keep it on here, see what's going on with that. All right. We'll put it on the risky pile since it is a lower flow and it is a lower price. You got to be really careful with your share size on this one. All right, HMNY, we know this one is not tradable. And then we have our buddy AMD. Buddy AMD looking very choppy here. This is a bad pre-market action. Look at this 1-minute candles here. Look how bad that looks, right? So that's not great. And then this one here, pre-market action, not great neither. All the volume sitting on this one candle. So that's probably a block trade because the price didn't go nowhere. But we know AMD well. We know that AMD cannot trade nicely. Even with a bad pre-market action, it's going to get the volume. And if it selects a direction like it did yesterday, it clearly wanted to go higher. It traded really nice. All right, so that's what we have so far. Let's see what we have here in our chat room. What are you guys watching this morning? Anything that I have missed? CVS not showing up in our trade idea scanners. Let's see if it's yeah, CVS gapping up 2.5, but it needs the volume. Right now the volume is only 88,000 shares traded. And the majority sitting over here, right? So it needs the volume. The pre-market action doesn't look great neither at the moment. So we'll keep it on here just for a sec, and then we'll come back to it. What do we have here? Team. Yeah, I have Team. I looked at Team. Where's Team? Let's go back over here. So the issue with Team Again, it's just not a great pre-market action. It's a higher price stock. So at the moment, I'm just not going to watch it. In fact, we'll throw it on here. We can come back to it. It is early, but right now, not the best pre-market action. All right, so Marcel, TQQQ is the same thing I was talking about, ETFs. So we don't trade those. Again, there are people that do trade them. Brian is amazing at trading ETFs. He does an amazing job, but I avoid them because that's not what my focus is. Yeah, we did look at UPL. So UPL, I do have it here. UPL is up 51%, 1.3 million shares traded so far. So I do have this one here. We do have shares for short on this one. So we'll find some levels. Pre-market action is building up. Hopefully it continues with that volume, because for 1.3 million shares, I want to see a better pre-market action, right? This pre-market action looks okay, but not great, right? So we have it on here. Again, very low price. Anything under $3, you got to be really careful. But this one doesn't seem like it moves much, so that's okay. All right, let's see over here on our YouTube chat what we have. BPTH, a reversal split. Okay, that's good. ABIL, what do we have here? Yeah, no volume on ABIL. So for the open, I don't see that being a good possible trade. OZM, I don't have no volume. This one, and Kenta was gapping down. TYME, yes, TYME I have that one on here. We're gonna look for some levels here. Again, volume is there, 485,000 shares traded so far, down 52%. What's the daily chart on this thing? Yeah, so this is definitely not the best daily chart. Actually, no, this looks okay. And we're definitely dropping here. I just don't like how the price is. You know, this is $1.75, so we got to be very careful how we trade this. And this thing can move on you. Again, the flow is 47, so a little higher float, but this you gotta be able to manage your risk. So if I can't find a good way to manage my risk on this stock, I'm probably not going to watch it. Just look at this candle here. This candle is this can drop here. What's that? Almost 50 cents, 60 cents candle. So you gotta be very, very careful. All right, what else we have here? GVO, yes, GVO we have here for sure. GVO is gonna be in play today. I mean, look at this. It's turning out to be a good pre-market action. You had this pop here. It's holding this level. Look at the volume, right? The volume was very strong right at the 8 o'clock mark. It has to continue to keep that volume here and kind of build a ramp, right? So it's doing that now. The more volume, you know, if it holds this level, it can start breaking the high of the pre-market and going higher. So GVO is definitely in play. We'll look for some levels in a second. Next we have NLS. 147,000 shares traded so far, gapping down 42%. What is the news on NLS? This was trading around $12, down almost 50% today. And we do have shares for short. What is the float? 29, so a little on the lower side. We'll put it on here, but yeah, when we'll pick the best one in a second, we'll go through this list and eliminate the weak and keep what looks best for open. So thank you for that. NLS looks interesting. Thank you. OZM, we looked at OZM already. UPL, not a low float. UPL, I don't think I put UPL as a low float, did I? UPL, 1.4 million shares traded so far. UPL. No, yeah, UPL is not a low float. I thought I put UPL up here. Yeah, I don't have UPL. Oh, I did put it down here. Oh, you know why I put it? It's not a low flow. I put it down here because you have to be able to. It's a risky stock. You have to be able to manage your risk properly because it's such your size. It's only $1.20. So not a low flow, but you have to be very careful how you manage your sizing on that. Next we have NNGA. NNGA. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Again, it's under $1. I usually try not to trade stuff that's under $1 because again, I just wouldn't even know how to manage my risk, what size I'm gonna take on that. And these stocks tend to trade a little different. So, but could be in play today because it has 970,000 shares traded so far. It is up 22%, so that's quite a bit. But just be careful how you trade that one. All right, so last one here we have JBHT on our YouTube. JBHT, not the best pre-market action on this one, JBHT. So you want to be careful. You don't want to get stuck in anything that doesn't have a good pre-market action. Daily chart looks great. This is a good daily chart, right? You have this bottom here, a little pop, a little double bottom here. Great for a swing trade if you would caught this on time. But now it's up 4.1. That's great. It could be in play later on today for a possible mid play, a trend trade possibly. But right now, I don't think anybody's watching this just because the volume is not there, all right, at the moment. All right, so all right, we'll do one more from YouTube here. Baba. So Baba is 141,000 shares traded so far. Not the best pre-market action. So it is up 1.3. So I'll wait for this to hit our trade idea scanners if it does that. But at the moment, it's not doesn't have the best pre-market action. But Baba is one of those stocks. It's kind of like AMD, right? It is a higher price. You can watch this every day, and it will give you opportunities. We have people in our chat room. I know Dave from Connecticut does a great job with Baba. This is a stock that he watches every day, and that's also a way to trade. You can watch certain stocks every day. Brian watches SQ every day, so you start to learn the characteristic of that stock the way we watch AMD and MU, and then you can possibly get a trade later at the open. But right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be the best possible trade at the open. Again, that could change, but I'm just looking at the pre-market action and basing it on that decision. All right, guys. So I think we have a long list here. Let's go through these, make this a little more manageable. All right. So we know Netflix is in play today. Let's find some levels for Netflix. Let's clean this up. Look at the volume just coming in here. It's really nice, kind of bouncing back. I mean, it was down as much as, what was it, 4? I think, guys, right, this morning. Now it's only down 1.5, so it is bouncing back. So again, people just tend to overreact to the news sometimes. That's why you don't want to be short biased, because now this thing could squeeze you pretty bad. So low of the pre-market right now, 341. Look at the low of the pre-market just bouncing from the high of this day here. So it kind of, you had this gap where it gapped up, and now it's just kind of went down, tested that gap, and now back up. And this might go red to green. So let's see. So above that, right, we have below that, we actually have the previous low from yesterday. We have the previous day close towards the top side, previous day high over here. So plenty of levels right in this area here for Netflix. I don't think it's going to come back down to that 341 level. It looks way too strong now. But if it does, the next level will be the high of this day here, 335.50 or so. All right, so plenty clean levels here. Let's see what it wants to do. Again, it tested that 341 level. Actually, it went lower than that. It tested this 335 level, and look at that. It's now at 348. So I think this is looking very strong. So be careful either way on this one. Next, we have Tesla. Tesla, same thing. It was down a lot more earlier today. Let's get rid of these levels here. Let's make this fresh. All right, nice. So now low of the pre-market at the moment is 318. So we'll mark that there. And then below that, if it breaks that level, we have another one over here. We have some moving averages coming in as well. I think this is the 200 mark. Don't worry about the blue line. That is our VWAP, which doesn't make sense on the daily chart. But you have the 200 level right on there as well. So that could be a level 315. All right, so we will mark that just to have it. So 315. I usually don't mark the moving averages, but that could be a possible area. And then we'll do the extreme if it really sells off. If something comes out, 303 will be a level. Now towards the upside, you have this over here, the low of these 2 days, which is kind of just hanging out, right? These 2 days are 334.51, and above that you have several low of the days and several highest of the days up here. So plenty of levels there. Let's go over to what it's doing now. So again, bouncing back from that 318 level. What is that supported by? So 318 is supported by the low of this day here, the high of this day here, and the close, and these days here as well. So definitely getting a little bounce here. Let's see if it can maintain that bounce there. So Cron popped up because it just made it over 107,000 shares traded, but then it's starting to not get more volume. So you had these two candles here, kind of, you had this volume here come in, but then the volume's starting to die out. It looked like it was going to build a good pre-market action, right? You got this range, which you want to see. But then if you look at the 1 minute chart, it's just not doing much. So we'll find some. Oh, we have plenty of great levels for this already. We can actually mark the high of this one over here as well, 14.14. And then above that, we have 14.57. How did we get that level? 14.57. Clearly right here, probably the high of this day. Yep. And then 15.31 all the way up here, 14.57. Actually, 14.57 has got to be going back. So sometimes you got to go back. We probably went really back for that level. So again, right now it's got to get better volume, but I'll have those levels ready in case it pops up into our scanners for a possible long. AMD. AMD, let's get rid of some of these levels. Let's clean this up a little bit here. AMD had a monster day yesterday. Look at this. It got me here in this 19 level. Make sure you check out my recap on YouTube on how I got stopped out twice on this. But again, just you manage your risk and you call it a day, and you're able to trade the next day without hurting your buying power and your emotions, which is very important. You got to protect your emotions. You don't want to go hawk. Had a monster day yesterday, popping up over here, getting back to these levels where we left off. We opened up 2 days ago. And now it's kind of holding pretty flat. The volume is 359, but again, not a great pre-market action. But we know AMD well that it's going to get the volume, and if it trades nicely, decides to pick a direction, it can trade pretty well. So we have a peak at 21.49, and we also have 21.22. So mark that as well. And then I'd like to get something in between because AMD doesn't move much sometimes. I mean, yesterday was not a regular day. We have another one here at a 20.84. So plenty of levels towards the upside. Towards the downside, you have the previous day close, which is very close to what the low of the pre-market is right now. And then below that, that 19 level was big right all the way down here. So below this, you have 1975, and then you have some moving averages right over here as well. So we'll mark some moving averages. Maybe this one right at 20. We can mark that moving average coming in. And then you have the low of this day here, and that 19 level that we couldn't break yesterday. All right, so AMD not looking great right now, but we'll keep it on here just for now and then see how it develops. Next we have CVS. So CVS still not doing much, coming up on 9 o'clock in 4 minutes. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. It's just not getting the volume. It is gapping up 2%, but it's just not looking great. UPL, it's not looking too great right now. Again, it had the volume earlier today, but now it's just kind of, it's a little bit dead. Let's find some levels and then we'll decide if we're going to keep this one or not. So high of the pre-market right now, hanging out at 128. Below that, you have the low of the pre-market at 99. And then you have some consolidation happening here around 107. So this could become a fallen angel, test this level again, then take off. Again, at the open, I wouldn't be trading this stock right at the open. I'll wait to see what the price action is going to develop. Then when it does get the volume, it looks like it does run. So we have some levels up here, 151, clear level all the way up here, 204. I don't think you'll get there, but just in case. And another one here, 173. So not the cleanest levels because you don't have, these are clean levels. When you have a spike like this, that's a very clean level. Here it's kind of just, trending down. So it's hard to get a level like this one here. That's a good one, right? Where you have some extremes. Andrew talks about, finding levels to have an extreme. Doesn't have those type of levels here. Like this one here, you can see is a good level, supported here and here. It's an area here as well. But right now, I'm not liking the pre-market action on UPL. So for me personally, I am not going to watch it. If you do, you have some levels you can possibly put on your chart. TYME. So TYME, 573,000 shares traded already. Down 52%. All right, pre-market action looks all right. Low of pre-market 143. We have this gap here we can possibly close all the way at a 233 towards the upside. Then we have this consolidation here, so not a clean level, but when you have these bounces from consolidation, it could turn to be something. So you have that 196 level, and look at this. If you look at the levels we just put from daily chart, look at the pre-market action on the 1 minute chart. So it drops to this level, holds, right, loses momentum, drops to this one, bounces, obviously that's the low of pre-market. It comes back to this 196 over here, and then it's just kind of consolidating between these two levels. So those levels are being respected in the pre-market. If it decides to go for a dive, let's see what 140, what's the lowest it's been here. Has it been under 143? Or is that the all-time low? All right, we have a spike over here. So we have gone as low as 114 in case this thing decides to drop. Looks like I do have shares for short, so that's good. Again, this is not, it's a lower flow, but not low flow. It's really 47 million shares, so it is tradable. But again, just the price is very low, 182. So you got to be really careful on your share size. Jivo is starting to just consolidate, kind of down trading or side trading here a little bit. Let's get some levels here. So we have the high of the pre-market at 430 at the moment, low of the pre-market at 324, and then we have a spike all the way up here. So when it gets the volume, as you can see down here, when it gets the volume, it does run. And these 2 days, it ran pretty nicely. And then what else we have? I'll mark this level here for a possible falling angel opportunity. So you have this bottom down here where it kind of bounces from here. So that's nice. Yep. And then also very important, the stocks that are this low, you want to make sure you're playing the price action, right? So if you get 10, 15, 20 cents, you know, don't say, oh, I need to get to this level. Take profits on the way up, because this allows you to stay in control of your emotions and the trade as well. You want to take profits as you're moving in a positive direction. So kind of holding this level right now around $4. Let's see if it cracks the high of the pre-market at 429. Oh, it looks like it wants to do it right now. Let's see. So that, again, definitely going to be in play. I like Jivo more than Time, to be honest. So I'm not going to watch all of these here. But Jivo seems to be the one that has the best pre-market action, amazing volume as well. So BPTH is not doing anything. This is not looking great. So we'll get rid of this. Team also is just not looking great. Again, 104,000 shares traded, but it's all here. It's all in this candle here, in this one here, and then nothing else has been happening in the last few minutes. So we'll get rid of Team. NLS is pre-market action is not looking great. What is the float on NLS? All right, so 29, so a little bit on the lower side. I am probably not going to watch this one. I think out of all the low floats, Jivo is looking. No, I'm sorry, is it Jivo? Yeah, Jivo is looking really good. So I'll probably just watch that one. So I'm gonna get rid of NLS. NLS is yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this one. I don't like the pre-market action on this one. And we'll look for our. No, we'll find some levels. We'll have the levels ready. If it pops up into our scanners, our trade ideas, to a break up, to a breakdown, or high of day bull flag, we can look into it. So low of the pre-market 653, high 760. This, I don't think this gap is even relevant, but I'm gonna mark it anyways. That's the gap 1007. It's a big drop. Does anybody know what the news is on NLS? There's got to be some news on that. You can't just drop like that just because somebody knows something. All right, so we have some levels over here. We could check out. Also, I know the people on YouTube cannot see this, but we do have a Benzinga. Let me bring this over here. So we have this Benzinga right connected to our chat room now, where you can actually go in here, put a stock, and find out what's going on. So it got downgraded, target $9. So I'm definitely reacted to that. So you can see here, you can put the ticker you want. Also, if you leave it on here like this, you can see what comes up, right? So 902, this came up, 901. You can see what's happening here. So this is available to you with your chat room membership, which is a great tool that we just added. I mean, it's becoming very helpful to the guys in the chat room and myself. All right, so we'll keep it on here, but most likely when I send out my watch list for the chat room, this one might not be on there. All right, let's do a final round. So this is what I have so far. What else are you guys watching on your end? Let's see if anything else popped up. Oh, we have some new guys in our trade idea scanners over here. So CVS is popping up again. Let's see if CVS is giving us a. Yeah, it's popping up now because it's losing it. Not sure about CVS. Let's see Boot. We have Boot here as well. BOOT. No, oh, well, definitely volume, but it's gapping up. What happened here? It's just a block trade probably. So it's up 2% on 427. Look at this volume. Whoever dropped this order here, that's what's causing that this to pop into our scanners. But this is not a good pre-market action. That's more of a block trade, so we'll skip that one. AXP. I know AXP. Somebody mentioned it also in YouTube. Thank you. I was gonna go back to you and check on AXP. So let's check AXP. And then I'll check SQ in a second. So AXP, 273,000 shares traded so far, but the pre-market action doesn't look great. Look at this candle here. This candle is the one causing all the volume. Oh, there goes more volume. So again, not too great. It doesn't look too good on the pre-market. It could change, right? It could get better later on, but right now the pre-market action is not looking great. The thing with the watch list for the morning, you want to be able to have the volume. Now, throughout the day, we're watching our trade idea scanners. If something pops up there and it has a good pattern that we can trade, we can definitely pull it up and make it tradable. but at the moment doesn't have the best volume. Now Andrew comes on around 9:15 Eastern time, and he goes over his watch list and his view. Now keep in mind, Andrew has a lot of experience, so he might catch something in this stock that we might have missed, and by the time he gets on, it might have a better pre-market action, because right now it looks like people are waking up and actually trading this thing, right? So so maybe later on it can become a better stock, but at the moment I'm just gonna skip it for now. All right, let's see what else we have going on. Yeah, so NLS cut to price. Yeah, NLS is NLS is definitely a huge drop here. All right, so I think somebody in our chat room mentioned SQ, so we'll look at SQ and PCG, our buddy PCG. See what's going on with that. That's a scary stock to trade. So let's look at SQ, see what's happening there. All right, so SQ is trending nicely here. Has the volume 148,000 shares traded. I don't like the fact that the volume is just in these few candles, right? One here and then one here as well. So I want to see that steady flow up here for a good pre-market open. But we know SQ is going to get the volume at the open. It does every time. But you got to be careful with SQ because it does trade a little choppy. So be very, very careful at the open. Wait for confirmation of a good open range breakdown. I will not take an open range breakdown on the 5 minute on SQ unless you have like a clear indication that's going to be in play. So be very careful. I will wait 10 to 15 minutes because once it does settle down, it does turn out to be a beautiful trading stock. So, and we'll wait for Brian to tell us if it's good or not, because Brian is the is the expert on SQ. All right, so somebody else, TLRY. Again, I don't even trade this stock. TLRY, trending up right now. Not that much volume, but looks like it's starting to come in. But this is a stock you just really can't manage your risk. I mean, unless you take 20 shares. I mean, look at this candle. It's what, 50 cents here. You know, I mean, if you look at the daily chart is what, 30 bucks sometimes. You know, you really can't manage your risk on this stock. It's not shortable at the moment. So this is a stock that you stay away from because it's just, again, you could definitely make a lot of money, but then you can lose a lot of money. And I don't want to lose a lot of money. I don't like those odds. All right, so see what else we got going on. Over here, PCG. Let's look at PCG. PCG. All right, so PCG is holding this level again. So look, you gotta be careful with PCG. You don't want to be short biased. It is on short selling restriction at the moment. I'm not sure if you guys have shares for short still on this. But again, look at this level at around, what's that, 630, 634, 636. So it's been holding this level. So you don't want to be short biased on this stock. Because yes, it has bankruptcy. Yes, it has all this bad news, but it can bounce from here. So you got to be very careful. It has the volume right now, 570,000 shares traded so far. It is up 2.8%. Obviously, 2.8 is not as much as this thing has dropped because the price is lower now. So 2.8% is not as much, given the recent history with this stock, right? It's kind of going highway to hell over here. So be very careful. You don't want to get caught in a squeeze here if you do have shares for short. Does have the volume. The pre-market action right now doesn't look great, but it's a stock that can possibly move today. So we'll keep it on here. It's just heavy news on this, so be very careful. Why don't I have team on my watch list? Good question. Let's look at team. And why did I take it off? I don't remember, but team. Oh, the volume and the pre-market action. Yeah, this is not a good pre-market action, right? So it's kind of going sideways. Look at all these gaps you have here. And again, you just don't have the volume. The volume was all over here, right? I'm sorry, no. All here. So you have these spikes of volume, 112,000 shares traded so far. But without the consistent volume, you're going to get these gaps here. I don't want to get caught in that at the open, because when a stock doesn't have volume, the liquidity and everything is just not great. And also, I know this will get better. Look at got to pay attention to this, guys. This is very important, right? Especially if you're trading with market orders. Look at the gap on this. In some cases, now it's tight, but later it was like 25 cents. You don't want to be down 25 cents the minute you jump into a stock, right? So you want to be careful with that. Now it's tight. It could get tighter once the market opens, but look at there, 23 cents. Now it is a higher price stock, so that you have to consider, you know, that gap. But I want volume if I'm going to do that, because if the volume is there, when I get in, I want it to start running in my direction as soon as possible, right? And as fast as possible. Right now, with these gaps, at the open, this can do this, hop up, hop down, hop up, hop down. and that's hard to manage your risk. So if you have an extra watch list, throw this on there just so you can see how the open is on these type of stocks. And again, that's the majority of the time. It's not certain. Nothing is ever certain. This could turn out to be a beautiful trade, but we want to just, make our odds as best as possible and avoid this one if we can. All right, guys, we're coming up on 9:10 Eastern time, 5 minutes before Andrew gets on. Everyone in YouTube, I am going to log off from here. Thank you for logging in. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoy watching the pre-market show live this week. I will keep the chat room on for a second while we continue our show here, but I'll mute the mic. So if you have any questions, we have all the moderators watching the YouTube chat room. So if you have any questions about our program, please make sure to ask them. They're there to help out. And make sure to check us out at www.com, bareboottraders.com. Yes, there you go. So check us out for sure. See what the service we have to offer. And hopefully you like what you've been seeing. You can join us our chat room. Talk to you guys soon. Let me over here.